Hey there everyone, what's up and welcome back to another video. With the 8th season of History Channel's Forged in Fire premiering on 18th November 2020, viewers can't wait to see what new action involving the weapon forging competition is in store for them. With that in mind, a flashback from previous seasons of the reality series could be a treat for the fans. Here are 7 Forged in Fire tests that went out full insane. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on anything. Alright, let's get to it. Number 7. The German Zweihander. Extending up to 84 inches in length and weighing up to 3.2 kilograms, the German Zweihander is an enormous two-handed sword that was primarily used in the 16th century. When contestants Jay and Stephen were asked to forge this impeccable weapon, it was surely a nail-biting competition to watch. On top of the Zweihander's intimidating appearance, the two men also had to include a gourd, ricasso, pommel, and 2 lugs. That said, both Jay and Stephen delivered an impressive performance with forging 2 excellent weapons, while Stephen ended up forming a 200-layer Damascus blade that was 35-inch long. Jay eventually won by creating a much more impressive 5-foot blade with a hand-forged oak handle for extra strength.
When you start swinging this thing, it moves things out of its way. I don't see any damage to your edge.
Number 6. Knightly Poleaxe. Featuring a carbon steel head affixed to an ash wood haft, the Knightly Poleaxe is based on a 15th century French original. The brutal and versatile poleaxe was a favorite weapon of the day and saw service with knights of all countries both in tournaments and on the battlefield. Thanks to its long shaft, knights could easily maintain a safe distance while striking the weapon through the opponent's armor, eventually slicing it through them as well. The 2 blacksmiths on the show, Derek and Carl, chose their own methods to forge the Knightly Poleaxe, but Derek was the winner in the end. He did what he was best at, trusting his gut and only using the traditional technique he was certain about, which eventually led him to receiving praise for creating a weapon that aced the strength test.
Let's do this.
Number 5. German Sawback Hunting Sword. The dual-purpose 17th century German sawback hunting sword remained the center of the viewer's attention when they watched the 23rd episode of Season 5. The deadly combination of a lethal short sword and a handsaw made this weapon particularly suitable for hunters who utilized it for more than one purpose. Devin and Trevor were the 2 blacksmiths competing against each other in this episode, as each of them was given the task to recreate the 20-inch weapon with a sawback, a pommel, and a right-side bent-forward clamshell. Devin's sword had an impressive handle formed with a mixture of brass and bronze. However, unfortunately, he could not beat Trevor during the kill test, after which Trevor was declared winner, thanks to his 115-layer pre-steel Damascus sword.
First up, aside from the obvious, I must say that that's a beautiful handle.
Thank you.
It feels good in the hand, quality stuff.
Number 4. Rapier. For those who don't know, a rapier is a kind of sword featuring a slender, sharply pointed 2-edged blade that was quite popular in Western Europe, both for civilian use as well as the military weapon throughout the 16th and 17th centuries. Its main function was to stab and cut, which is why its blade had unique curves that distinguished this sword from the others. This explains why forging the rapier was a challenge. But contestant Dave left everyone stunned after making his own well-balanced sword out of a stainless steel blade and a mild steel pommel.
Balance matters. It was easy to thrust, easy to slash. Moving this around feels good in the hand.
Number 3. 17th century Mortuary Sword. With a spear point tip and a ferocious double-edged blade, the 17th century mortuary sword was the major weapon used during the English Civil War. The 2 contestants, Kirk and Riley, were given 5 days to form their own versions of the mortuary sword that held historical significance as well, since it's known to commemorate King Charles back in the day. Kirk stayed at the top of his game while recreating the sword with a backwards forging method. The 32-inch long blade allowed him to win the challenge after his version of the mortuary sword pierced through the pig carcass with zero turbulence.
In order to compete in our Tournament of Champions, you must first be a champion for the Farrier class. That champion is Kirk.
Number 2. Makraka Sword. Renowned as the close-range weapon of the Zanda warrior, the Makraka is a long, sickle-shaped knife from Central Africa. While its blade widens near the tip with a cutting edge on the concave side of the blade, the handle is wooden covered in hide to enhance the warrior's grip. The 2-feet-long sword was often used in execution as well as a secondary weapon in combat. During a Forged in Fire test, participants Paul and Craig had to recreate the weapon that they both explicitly called ugly. In the end, Craig was declared the winner, despite facing numerous challenges during the forging process. Number 1. Sisa Sword. The nail-biting battle between contestants Tony and Frank was probably one of the most memorable moments on the show. The two blacksmiths were given the task of recreating the Sisa sword, which was used in ancient Rome, originating in the Hallstatt culture. Forging the curved blade was equally tricky for both Frank and Tony. The judges were almost impressed by Tony, whose sword featured 3 steels, a cable down the center, as well as a brass blade guard. Thanks to these incredible Forged in Fire tests, fans can enjoy rewatching the series. This brings us to the end of our video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then let us know by liking the video. Stick around for more amazing content, as we will be soon seeing you in another video. Until then, take care and goodbye.